and state elected officials. Dr. King Martin is responsible, his courage. 40 years ago, Dr. King fought for jobs, housing, health care. Today, we fight for those very same things, all of us, members of Congress and leaders and men and women and children all over this great nation of ours. Where were you 40 years ago? What will you do today that we might build a better nation right here on earth? Today is a glorious day that the Lord has made. This beautiful rotunda just reminds us of how great our nation is. Will you sacrifice? Will you build? Will you dedicate your life, as Dr. King did, that our nation might rise with power and glory once again? We have an awesome task ahead of us. Bring our soldiers home. Stop this war. That's what he would say if he were here today. So my brothers and sisters, as it says in Nehemiah 2, the walls of Jerusalem were in ruins. And Nehemiah said, my people, let us rise up and build, as Dr. King would. The Bible says the people strengthened themselves for the good work. God bless you.
Today, we have the very special privilege of being joined by a member of Dr. King's family. Martin Luther King III is a leader in his own right, a fighter for justice, following the work in the footsteps of his parents, Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. Through his Realizing the Dream initiative, Martin Luther King III is bringing hope and help to many people in our country. It's a special privilege for me to ask all of you, in welcoming Martin Luther King III, to express our appreciation to his family for the sacrifice they made for our country. Martin Luther King III.
Let me first thank God for the opportunity to be here. Speaker Pelosi, to the Honorable Majority Leader Reid, Republican Leader McConnell, to Republican Leader Bonner, to the Majority Whip, Congressman Claiborne, to my Congressman, John Lewis, my Congressman, to Caucus Chair, Congresswoman Kilpatrick, and I might have left someone out, but if I have, please attribute it to my head and not heart, but to all members of Congress, members of the Senate and Congress. On behalf of my wife, Andrea, my sister, Bernice, and my brother, Dexter, and the entire King family, let me thank you for this moment that you have stopped to pay tribute to the memory of our father, Martin Luther King Jr., and in a sense, our mother, Coretta Scott King. I am here with mixed emotions as we approach April 4th. Tomorrow we will be in Memphis. Because my father 40 years ago talked about triple evils of poverty, racism, and militarism. And not that we've not made strides, we have. But we certainly have not come far enough. And so I hope that there is a recommitment and a a dedication on the part of all of us, not just our members of Congress, but all of us, all of America. Because 40 years ago, he was talking about a guaranteed annual income. Today, we call that a living wage. However, we're still trying to get the minimum wage where it needs to be. I don't know that it'll happen with the minimum wage, but it must become a living wage so that people can live in America. Madam Speaker, since you mentioned that I've been working on poverty, I have, and in that vein, I've asked all of the presidential candidates to consider for America creating a cabinet-level position that would focus on reducing poverty in America. If we're serious, there are 36 million people that we know about, 12 million of them who are children, that are living in poverty across America, on our streets and on our corners. And it's a shame and a disgrace. Certainly if we can find $30 billion to bail out Bear Stearns, maybe we needed to do that. But if we can find $30 billion to do that, then why can we not find resources to help the least of these God's children? And so if we are serious, and I know all the members of Congress, the women and men of Congress, are very serious about the people's business. But if we are serious, then we will, in fact, ultimately reach that day when poverty is reduced, when education for all is not just available, but the highest quality of education, when health care is available for all, when jobs are available in this country as they once were. We know that all Americans must do is roll up their sleeves, because we as people are incredible people. We have incredible ability. Somehow we just have not identified the will. But when ability meets will, results occur. You see, we must do it not because I'm saying it, certainly, but we must do it because Martin Luther King Jr. told us the ultimate measure of a human being is not where they stand in times of comfort and convenience, and not where they stand in those times, but where one stands in times of challenge and controversy. He went on to say that on some questions, cowardice asks, the question, is a position safe? Expediency asks the question, is a position politic? Vanity asks the question, is a position popular? But that something deep inside called conscience asks, is a position right? So sometimes we must take positions that are neither safe nor popular nor politic, but we must take those positions because our consciences tell us it's right. That's all he would want us to do. That would help us to create the great America that we know we are. Again, to all of the leadership and all members of Congress and all of the ladies and gentlemen and maybe children that are here today, thank you, and may God bless you always.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the Reverend Daniel Coughlin gives the benediction.
On April 3rd, 1968, the night before he was assassinated, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. spoke at Mason Temple in Memphis. May a few of his words spoken then live on in us as a blessing now. He said, "The world is all messed up. The nation is sick. Trouble is in the land, confusion all around. But I know somehow that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars.